Okay, next video is setting up our monitor off engine 22 on the ground mount. Hopefully we never ever have to do this, but I thought it would be something for everybody to be familiar with. It's possible that we would have to do this. So I've practiced this a couple of times and I feel like we got it. There's a way to get it off the truck in a safe, efficient way. So Joey's gonna help me. I'm gonna lower down the mount, the ground mount first. It's got these carbide spikes on it, so I would try and do it where you're not dragging it down the pump panel. Okay, then in the milk crate, I've got a accessory rope here. I'm going to clove hitch it onto the handle. Raise it up to the lock position, to the 35 lock. Take my brake off. Got one pin out, second pin out. Okay, it's all secure. I'm gonna hand it down to Joey. What I'm gonna do is try and go down where the cover is for the cross lay, so I don't drag it across any gauges. Got it. All right. And then we're gonna set it up in a scenario where we don't have a fixed object to put the safety strap to. So what we're doing, we're running two lines to the ground mount and we're looping them around the front and then into the mount. So this mount, it's got the same exact pin setup. Okay. It's got 4 legs. They got carbide tips on them, and those will poke you. Point it. This is the front, and you point it. Point it in the direction you're going to be operating the nozzle. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and do it now, but it's got we got this safety strap. I just clipped it on there. So we just got, now all we got to do is mount that and then also hook up the hoses to the Siamese. So I don't know if everybody's familiar with the Siamese, but if you look in here, there's 2 valves here. This is a Siamese fitting. So if you wanted, you could just run one hose to this. And then the other one will have pressure against it and block it off. So you can operate off one hose. And if you needed to, you can add a second hose to it, or you can just start out with 2. Pull my 2 pins. There's one. And 2. Okay, so I mentioned it in the other video. When we've got it in the ground mount position, you can only flow water out of it when this Apollo high riser is in the lowered position. Okay, so you cannot flow water in this position. And it should be pretty obvious why, because if you flow water, that thing is gonna go for a ride. It's gonna flip over. So don't flow water with it in that position. What am I doing wrong here? Okay, so when it hits that stop, that's 35 degrees. That's the lowest elevation in the ground mount setup. You can go higher, but you can't. Don't pull this pin and go lower than 35 in the ground mount. It's got too low of an angle, and it'll pick up the whole thing and go for a ride. So now it's just a matter of aiming it and getting it locked in. Right now we've got two 2.5 inch lines on it. For this truck, you can go, one scenario might be we've got two pre-connects. We've got a cross lay and a rear pre-connect. They're both 200 feet. Of 2.5, you could use those to this. Okay, there's a few ways to do it off of this truck. We've got a Siamese or not a Siamese, but a Y that'll take from 4 inch to 2.5 inch connections. So you could do a really long lay for this. So a lot of different scenarios or ways to do it as far as the hose arrangement goes. So the other video we did yesterday was with the Mercury Quick Attack. The max flow on that Mercury was 500 max. This one in the ground mount is somewhere, the manual says 800 gallons per minute is the max in the ground mount. So we can get a lot more flow out of this monitor with two lines to it. So yeah, just keep in mind same safety considerations. You can leave this unmanned. I would recommend assigning somebody to maintain it. Watch out for power lines before you charge it. You don't want to run water through the power lines. Don't depress it more than 35 in the ground mount. Double check the safety pins that mount it to the base. Okay, that's it. We're also going to show you another way to add to the anchors on this. Joey brought up a good point, is being able to use something to stake this down. So these two front arms have these holes right here, so you can drive anchors pins into those. What we're going to show you though is we've got these 1 inch picket anchors. They're carried on the truck and they're actually in that compartment, but they don't fit in the holes. So instead of adding more stuff to the truck, we're just going to use some girth, some Prusik cords. I think these 7 or 8 mil Prusik cords. We're just gonna girth hitch that into the hole. There's your girth hitch. And then you could, once you have the ground mount set up where you wanted to, you can take the slack out of that prusik and drive this in. What I kind of like about this, and now that we're seeing it set up, is you're not going to restrict the rotation. So yeah, if we had a pin in there, you're going to go about 30 or 40 degrees left and right of center if you put a pin in here. So for now, we're going to put these 8mm prusik cords in there. So the other thing I see that does is, if I do end up running the nozzle in a different direction than initially intended, I've got something that'll keep it from picking up and flipping over by doing that, adding a couple of more anchors. So just something to think about, add some more safety and versatility to being able to turn it and aim it. So that's it.